Hey guys, happy Wednesday. So I've been giving my updates for, I guess, like my post show transition, my post show updates, I guess that aspect of the journey I'm currently on. I've been giving those on Saturdays with my grocery hauls, but I needed to come in a little bit early and share some updates that I've got recently because so far I haven't struggled that much. And most of my updates are kind of like a little bit lighter, I guess, than I've expected. But why I wanted to jump in early, like I said, is because I've been really kind of struggling these past couple of days in regards to the post show transition. I really wanted to share in the moment of when I was struggling, like those specific days. That way, I could maybe share something relatable to another competitor or somebody going through the post-show struggles for something that they might find helpful in that moment. But I really just didn't feel able to share anything publicly. I really just kind of like needed to go through it by myself, for myself at the time. But now hopefully I can share what I went through, something like that happened to me, the way I handled it, how I felt in the moment, and maybe some things that kind of helped get me through or to recover, the things that I'm doing now to move forward from it. So I guess kind of just like diving right into it. Saturday, I felt great. I did my grocery shopping. I did some meal prep. I had everything all planned out. I even was going to have pizza with my dad Saturday night, planned and everything accounted for, and in a way that wasn't going to really, I guess, throw me off track. And I did that. I was able to have pizza with my dad. I ate healthy majority of my day. I had pizza with him. I really enjoyed that, and I was feeling really good. But somewhere along the way, Saturday night, I just started beating myself up. I started picking myself apart. All I could see was the weight that I had gained since nationals, and I was just like looking at my legs on the couch and was just like, how the fuck are my legs already so big? I found myself on Instagram comparing myself to my post-show journey compared to other competitors' post-show journey, or at least what they were sharing, what I was seeing. What I was seeing is all of these other competitors that, they're 3 weeks post-show and they're only up 2 pounds, or they're a month post-show only up 4 pounds, and their comparison contrasts, it didn't look so drastic in my opinion, and I'm sitting there like, well, why the fuck is that not me? Why am I sitting here 2 weeks post-show and I'm already 5 pounds up, 6 pounds up? Why the fuck am I not 2 pounds up like this other girl? Why does she still look shredded and I don't? And I really started beating myself up for it, and it hurt me, mentally, and I cried, and I literally, I stood up, like, from my couch, and I asked my parents, I'm like, do I already look fat? Like, that sounds so stupid, but, I really trust my dad, and in the past when I've gained weight, I've actually gone to my dad and asked him, is what people are saying, is that true? And he's been so straight up for me, and I really need that sometimes from him, and that's, like, I don't know, I guess just somebody that I can go to that I know is going to deal me straight. Kind of like my relationship with my coach. But anyway, so I'm just asked, am I already, do I already, look big? And they're just like, no, and I guess, I kind of just, needed to ask them that to, put it in my own perspective that, I'm not gaining a surplus amount of weight right now, even though it kind of felt like that. So why I just wanted to share that is trailing into the next day, I had breakfast planned out with my family. We were going to have a family breakfast together, and this was literally the first time that I ate pancakes in almost 2 years. Not because pancakes are evil or I'm afraid of carbs or anything like that, but because I am gluten intolerant, and I never have just made the effort to buy gluten-free pancake mix, because gluten-free stuff like that is typically expensive. I don't eat a lot of pancakes on my own, so literally I would just have all of this mix sitting around. That's another story. So, like, anyways, this is going to be literally, like, my first time eating pancakes in so long. I was going to enjoy my time with my family. And I also was planning to have this meal untracked. And I did. But what I found afterwards is that I found myself in a place of anxiety. Because, like I said, this is the first untracked meal that I had in a very long time. And I did very well with that meal. I felt like I ate to a good point. You know, I was full, not overly full. I was satisfied. I had a great time with my family. I ate foods that I enjoyed. But later on, just thinking that I ate something that I don't know what I ate. And that sounds crazy and it sounds a little neurotic. But if you're somebody that's coming from a competition, you know what I'm talking about. And this compounded with my feelings that I had about my weight gain, or like in my head about it, my body image, and anxieties of all of the other things that I had to do in that day. All of these things really just started to like get to me, and I went to the kitchen and started to emotionally eat. Literally, I was literally still full from breakfast, and I was just emotionally eating. There was no other reason for it. And I knew exactly what I was doing, but I just didn't stop myself. I had 3 leftover pancakes, slathered with peanut butter, and extra chocolate chips. And like I said, it was just emotional eating. There was no other reason for it. And it wasn't I wouldn't consider that a binge because it was only 3 pancakes. But I had a lot of peanut butter with it. And I am disappointed in myself in the fact that I let myself emotionally eat like that when I knew why I was doing it. So kind of moving on from that, I felt really guilty about it. And I took that sense of recognition that I needed to talk to somebody about it, that I just couldn't let myself stew about it because I was really feeling frustrated with myself afterwards, like literally like to the point of like tears at any moment, and things were just feeling really, really difficult for me. So I was able to talk to one of my teammates about it, and I called her on the phone, and had a really good conversation with her, trying to figure out why it happened, because all of those things that I just shared about the reasons why I was emotionally eating, I didn't really dive into those yet. I really didn't think about why I had done it. I just knew that it was emotionally driven. So I kind of talked with her about things and was able to get to the reasons for why I was feeling emotional, the reasons for why I felt like I needed to give into that emotional eating behavior. And like I said, a lot of it was anxiety driven, thinking about all of the tasks that I had to do that day, or the responsibilities that I didn't want to attend to, things that have been weighing on my mind for months that I've just kind of pushed off to the side, to get to later. These are the times that those are coming out. And also the fact that I am feeling frustrated with my journey compared to other people's. Like I'm really kind of have felt myself falling into that the past couple of days. And another thing that has been really bothering me is the feeling of lack of support, from my family in certain aspects, in the way that I live my life, in the way that I guess in this sport, and also just in my lifestyle in general. I have never really felt supported, specifically by my grandparents in regards to how I eat healthy and how I work out. And they have no qualms about throwing comments to me about it. And it really does hurt me as much as I try to let it roll off my back. It does bother me. So something that was recently said to me by them really was getting to me, and lo and behold, this act of emotional eating. So long story short, I was able to talk with my teammate about this, kind of dissect this a little bit, and I was feeling a lot better. Now, that being said, on my drive home, I was thinking, okay, you know what are some things that I can do to make myself feel better without using food? And one of these things has always been exercise for me. And I kind of told myself, okay, like, you know what, maybe just hit a late night lift. go in, smash some weights that you really like enjoy doing, like some exercises that you really enjoy, and maybe this will help you feel better. But what I ended up ultimately deciding was that this was not the best choice for me, because I didn't want to feel like I was doing it to compensate for what I had done in regards to my nutrition. I didn't want to feel like I was using something I love, exercise, as a form of punishment, because I've done that in my past. And I didn't want to feel that way. So I tried to think of other things that I could do. I thought maybe I could just go home and unwind. Maybe I will exfoliate, take a nice shower tonight, put some self-tanner on, do some other things that I like. And then what this ended up turning into was a little bit of other spiraling thoughts about, okay, maybe I'll just unwind and have that cider that I've got in the fridge. Maybe, and then that turned into, maybe I'll just get drunk. And I'm just being completely honest. And when I said that to myself, I knew I, again, had to put the brakes on and be like, why are you thinking that way? Because I've struggled a lot in my past with alcohol, using alcohol as a coping mechanism. And when I literally said, like, maybe I'll just get drunk, like, where the fuck did that come from? And I really just needed to be like, stop. Something is wrong, because that's not me anymore. I don't use alcohol for a coping mechanism anymore, or really do my best effort to not. And so what this told me is that something else was like really deep, like brewing in the surface. Like it wasn't just, like, oh, you're hungry, like you need to eat. It wasn't just that anymore. It was like something inside that emotionally driven coping mechanism is trying to come out in the form of self-sabotage. Self-sabotage being through eating, or self-sabotage being through using exercise, which I love, using that as a punishment, or self-sabotage through over consumption of alcohol. All of these things coming into one. And so then I literally, like, it was like literally fate, because when I was thinking in my head, like, maybe I'll just go home and get drunk. Number one, I had work the next day, so I wasn't gonna fucking do that. Number two, I had to think about how I would feel if I did that. But number three, this is like fate. I was still driving in my car, and I saw a cop car. Somebody was pulled over. This is something I don't really talk a lot about, but I was arrested in the past related to alcohol. And so when I had that thought come in my head about drinking, and then I saw that cop at the flashing lights, and like literally, like, I swear to you, like, flashing lights to me like that and seeing cop cars is still like a real trigger for me from that source of trauma in my life. And like I saw that, and like it was like literally something in my stomach just like was like, you're not that person anymore. You're not going to do that. You're not going to go home and get fucking smashed to put these other issues that you've got going on under the surface, because you know that isn't going to do anything for you, and it's not going to solve anything. It's going to create more problems. And seeing that cop car, like, literally just said to me, like, you are not that person anymore. You've come a long way from that point, and you are not going to do that. So, and I literally just like cried in my car. And I thought about all the things that were really going on. So when I got home, I didn't go to that late night lift like I had potentially thought about, because I didn't want to use it as a form of punishment. I took a shower, I put my favorite music on, and I really just tried to do other things that would make me feel better. And I did. I really started to feel better. I like got into bed, and things were doing okay. And then I just couldn't sleep. I was up. Like, I just was like feeling awake. And then my anxiety started to hit me again. This is all on the same day. And it was late at night. My willpower was like, it was out the window at this point. I was like fizzled the fuck out. And I got out of bed and I went in the kitchen, and I knew exactly, again, what I was doing when I went to the kitchen, and I knew what was going to happen. And it was and then that was my first experience with post-show binge. I actually am kind of proud to say that I made it this far into my post-show journey without binging, but it did happen. Now, one of the things that I can say is that I'm very glad of the tactic that I've been setting myself up with in regards to my grocery shopping, making sure that all of the groceries that I'm bringing home, or nearly all of them, are healthy, because if I participate in a binge eating behavior, all I've got is healthy food to binge on. That was like a huge thing that really helped me in that instance. So even though the other day I did give in to my first post-show binge, I feel like I didn't have, number one, a complete blowout because I set myself up that way. But I feel like I was able to feel a little bit better the next day. So let me just dive into what I ate in my first post-show binge. I had, I think, 4 rice cakes, 2 bananas, 2 Quest bars, a package of M&Ms. I think I had some cereal. I can't remember. Or eggs. I don't know. Anyways, in a nutshell, I ate, I think it was like 25 grams over on my protein, and I think like almost 60 grams over, or no, it might have been 100 grams over on my carbs, and almost double of my fats. So my current macros are 150 of carbs and 40 grams of fat. So during this binge, I ate about 260 grams of carbs, like ending the day. I was at 260 as opposed to 150 grams of carbs. And then for my fats, I was at about 90 instead of about 40, which is my goal. So I was very frustrated by that. And then I felt guilty, obviously, for what I had done because I just emotionally ate again in the same day that I thought that I would just make it through the rest of the day and things would be fine. And this is, like I said, this is me being totally transparent and open and honest about it, because if you are somebody that's going through a little bit of your post-show journey, you're not alone in that struggle, and you're not alone in feeling the frustrations that you feel. So what I'm going to tell you next is what I did the next day. I had a check-in with my coach, actually, but even if I didn't have check-in that day, I would have reached out to her and told her what happened. And that being said, I was honest about it. I would be lying if I said that I didn't think about lying to my coach and fudging my numbers, but I've told you guys this before, like, that makes no sense, because if you fudge your numbers to your coach, she's gonna know, or he, whatever, they're gonna know. Okay, because if you fudge your numbers and either act like everything's fine, or you fudge your numbers and you're venting these frustrations, they're gonna look at what you're showing them and being like, dude, what are you confused about? What are you frustrated with? When you hit your macros, or like you were only 10 grams over. Like, so lying does nobody any good, because also if your coach doesn't recognize it, if they actually like think that what you're saying is true, and you just slide on by with this lie, and you keep increasing weight, or something keeps happening that is unexpected, you guys aren't going to know how to work together. You're not going to know how to overcome it. You're not going to be able to dive into it and understand what happened. Or, like, let's say on the reverse side of things, if you say you're hitting your macros and you're gaining weight, your coach is going to be like, okay, maybe we should dial it back a little bit, or maybe we should give you some more cardio or something. Like, you don't want to end up in a space that you don't understand what's actually going on, okay? So I just kind of wanted to share that a little bit for a second. So anyways, so what I did after this binging experience, I reached out to my coach about it. I was totally transparent and I was honest. I went back and I logged everything I ate into MyFitnessPal, where I track my macros. And I was just upfront about it. And she got back to me with some open and honest, real advice, and it really helped me so much. She didn't tell me that I needed to, do more cardio the next day or dial back on my macros the next day. Literally, like, for the post-show experience, I feel like this kind of mindset is super important. She literally told me not to do anything differently. Literally, to just go back and like move forward onto the next day and hit the macros that we are aiming to hit. Don't try to undo anything. Literally just kind of like bless and release that shit and move forward. Hit your 150 grams of carbs today. Even though you didn't do it yesterday, don't dial it back. You know what? You went double over on your fats. Don't try to not eat any fats today, or, eat 10 grams less every day for the rest of the week, like to overcompensate for it. No, literally just stop, see what your body does, see what's going to happen, see how you feel, and just try to move forward from this, because that's one of the things that's really important to recognize, is that this can become a vicious cycle if you try to overcompensate with, you had this episode of binge eating, and then what are you going to do? Go run all of these extra miles, or go and do extra workout, workout for 3 hours and then not eat any of this, that, and the other thing for the rest of the day. Make sure that you only eat 50 grams of carbs, all this stuff, literally getting into that mindset can really set you up into a bad roller coaster, especially post-show, because you're already feeling all of these frustrations, and then you're going to slap on another harsh restriction on yourself to do a certain thing, to undo something else that you're so afraid of, and it's so fucking hard. It really is so hard to just let yourself do what you're supposed to do, I guess, in this sense, and literally just do nothing about it, or what seems like nothing. And what I mean by that is to try to not overcompensate. But I really feel like these past couple of days, in not trying to overcompensate, I've really felt so much better about it. Today I'm having a really good day, and really just my overarching theme for these past couple of days, but really the past couple of weeks, my overarching theme is just to keep reminding myself to fuel how I want to feel. How you fuel is how you feel. And remembering how I feel when I overeat, or when I make some unhealthier choices for myself. How do I feel in those moments compared to, how do I feel when I eat an apple? How do I feel when I eat a salad for lunch, or I eat my healthy meal? Or how do I feel when I go for a walk in the morning or on my lunch break? Those sorts of things. How do I feel during those times? So that's really what I'm just trying to focus on, and something I wanted to share with you too, because that, I think, is something that is so powerful, whether you are coming from post-show or not, whether you're maybe just trying to live a healthier lifestyle for yourself, focusing on how you feel as opposed to how you even look, that is something that is so life-changing, and that is something that can really help you stay on that path and to continue making those lifestyle changes. Because when you feel a certain way, when you know you're doing something to better your life on the inside, even if it's just your mental space, improving your mental health, those are things that nobody's gonna be able to take that from you, and it can really be powerful in changing your entire life. So those are just some ways that I've really been trying to reset my framework of mind. And also something that I wanted to touch on and talk about is how difficult it is. And this speaks to a competitor or somebody that's on post show, how difficult it is to frame your mind as a woman to be okay with gaining weight. And that's fucking hard. That is going against the grain of everything that society tells you, everything that culture tells you for your entire life. And as you have gotten leaner throughout your process of prep, and you heard over and over as you got leaner, how good you look, how proud people are of you for working so hard and all these things. Those comments, are going to go away as your shreds go away, as you gain weight. And it's difficult to try to put the blinders on towards what other people think about you, what other people see, what other people maybe are thinking or saying about your life, your journey, and you don't want to be the girl that people see and they say oh yeah, she looked good, but now she gained 25 pounds. That for me is something I'm really struggling with. But I also have to remember, and you have to remember this too, is that this is your life and your journey. And also something that's very important to think about, a good mindset shift that I came across recently, is if you're a competitor and you have plans of competing again, if this wasn't a one and done kind of thing, this wasn't a bucket list item for you, and you plan on coming back next season, or maybe it's whenever it is that you hit stage again, but this is your improvement season. And if it truly is going to be improvement season to you, number one, you have to stop caring what anybody else fucking thinks about you, because I'll guarantee you just as many people that were actually telling you to your face that you're doing such a great job, that you look so great, they're so proud of you, blah, blah, blah. Just as many of those people, there were just as many people sitting in the sidelines, sitting in the background, talking shit, saying how you were too lean, you were too skinny, you were this, that, and the other thing, too muscular, oh, that's so manly, all the things. So like, while you think that you were maybe impressing other people, if that's how you kind of are viewing things, or that people thought you were doing so good, you were making people proud, this, that, and the other thing, you were making just as many other people dissatisfied. You were a hero to somebody, but also the villain to somebody else. So let me just try to like remind you of that, and also like reminding myself of that, because this is about you. This is your journey. So that being said, and then also, like I said, if this is not a one and done kind of thing for you, if you plan on hitting that stage again, this is your improvement season. Every athlete has to understand that there is a time and a place to be, like, there's a time and a place to be stage lean, and it's not maintainable. And in order to come back next season, to make these improvements that the judges want to see from you, to be better, to be more competitive, to improve, in order to do that, you need to eat the food. You need to push the weights. You need to gain the weight. Because otherwise, if you fight that aspect of this process, you're only doing yourself a disservice, because that is what is truly going to be wasting your time, is if you try to spin your wheels and avoid gaining the weight, because then you're not going to be able to gain the muscle either. You're not going to be able to make those gains in the right way too, because that's something to remember. Just because you're gaining weight doesn't mean you're putting on all this fat mass. If you're still training hard and lifting heavy weights, doing the things that your coach is telling you to do, if you're still doing those things, the weight that you're gaining isn't just fat mass, it's muscle mass too. And in doing that the correct way, you're going to be able to come back even stronger next season and make those improvements that they're looking for. Make those improvements that are going to make you more competitive and get you one step closer to your goals. So that's something that I really wanted to remind you of too, is that the true waste of time is fighting the process. The true waste of time is fighting the process in regards to the weight that you're going to gain. Because in that sense, you will not be able to make the improvements that you need to come back as a stronger competitor. Like, that's something to maybe put in your mind, to maybe strike a little bit of fear into you in a different way. The fear of coming back next season exactly the same. The fear of being exactly where you ended this season next season, because that is not growth, that is not progression, that is not anything that you are working towards in this sport as an athlete, as a competitor. And even if you're somebody that doesn't compete, even if you're somebody that's just gen pop trying to live a healthy lifestyle, you do not want to be where you are today, tomorrow even. You do not want to be where you were this month, next month, or where you were this year, next year. It's all about growth. It's all about progression. You have to understand that the process is difficult. The process is challenging. But by fighting it, that's really what you're doing yourself a disservice in. So, in a nutshell, that's just what I wanted to share. I just wanted to kind of get this out in the open for another competitor or a person that's maybe struggling with the fact that they binge ate, or that they went off track from their goals, or that they're maybe like, maybe hopefully this spoke to a competitor that is feeling frustrated or having a hard time accepting the fact that they need to gain some weight. Okay, and I'll tell you right now, one of the things that's really been helpful for me is trying to, like I said, think about what, how you fuel is how you feel, but also focusing on living a healthy, happy life. This is improvement season. And if you're improving in your life, you can count that towards your happiness and you can count that towards your health. So focusing on moving your body in a way that feels good, drinking water, eating foods that make you feel good inside and out. And also another thing that I've really been trying to focus on too is like self-care aspects, like making sure that I'm showering regularly. Because if you're somebody that's coming off of a competition season, I can guarantee you that shower probably had a question mark on your to-do list more than you'd like to admit. So focusing on self-care a little bit, making sure that, I'm exfoliating and that I'm washing my face every night, or maybe it's even just that I did my makeup before work. I bought some new gym clothes to make myself feel good because I've been wanting new gym clothes for so long, but I haven't been able to buy them because as I keep getting leaner, none of my fucking clothes fit, and now something that's kind of just putting into a different mindset, a new perspective for myself. Like when I put on my jeans, I wear an outfit that makes me I don't know, or like an outfit that I think is pretty or that I think is cute or whatever. Looking at myself and actually looking healthier, because it's just, as I got leaner, and into this competition season, I'm sure you might have too, you don't look healthy anymore pretty much in anything other than gym clothes. You look shredded in your gym clothes and in your underwear and in your bikini, but how often are you wearing that stuff in your normal life? There would be times where I would have birthday parties or something to go to with my friends, or we're going out to dinner, or I'm being with people for an event, and I go to put an outfit on, or I go to get dressed, and oh, whoops, my shorts don't fit anymore. None of my shorts fit. My underwear don't even fit. I put on an outfit, and maybe it's a tank top, and it's a nice vintage tank top or something that I think it looks super cute. And I put it on, and then I don't feel cute anymore because I literally just look so shredded that I look like I'm gonna fucking go kick somebody's ass. And that sounds, oh wow, first world problems, and it wasn't a problem really, because that was my goal at the time. I needed to get shredded. I wanted to be very lean for the goals that I was chasing for sport. But now, in this aspect of improvement season, you've got to recognize that you don't need to be shredded at this point. It's not what it's about. And if you're trying to stay there, you're going to be wildly disappointed. So thinking about maybe just how you can live a happier, healthier life overall, and how you can maybe embrace the changes that are going on with your physique. Kind of like I said, with maybe buying some new clothes, buying some clothes that actually fit you again, or clothes that you feel good in. And, that could be a little bit difficult because sometimes when you look at yourself and you don't see the shreds anymore and you get in your own head about the weight that you've gained. But the last thing I want to end this on with that, I guess, is just forcing yourself to look at yourself, because this is something that I've done for years. Started way back when I was in high school, and I really just hated my body, and I would literally just get naked and look at myself in the mirror and force myself to accept it. And it sounds crazy, but the more you do it, the more you actually come to terms with what your body looks like, who you are. And that kind of being said is that you are more than just your body. Kind of looking at yourself and telling yourself the reasons why you love yourself, things that you like about yourself, things that make you you, that can be, I think, really powerful. And that, in a sense, aside from getting naked and looking at yourself in the mirror, something else that I've really been doing is making an effort every single day that I go to the gym wearing a crop top. Because when you wear a crop top and you're shredded, no fucking big deal, right? Okay, yeah, you look good and you can wear a crop top, cool. But when you don't necessarily feel shredded anymore, you don't see the shreds as much anymore, and you put on a crop top, you may not feel your best, right? And even that being said, being a couple weeks post-show, you're nowhere near obese, or you don't look as bad as you probably think you do. I guess just to be flat out with that. But for me, forcing myself to wear a crop top to the gym every single day, I have to look at myself. I have to look at myself and my stomach and see the changes that are happening in my body. And what's kind of cool is when I first get there and I'm wearing the crop top and I'm oh my God, I look like a fat slob. Like, just being totally honest. Like, I literally, I'll beat myself up when I look at myself, but I'm like, no, you're fucking doing this. And I wear the crop top, and I go through my workout, and it's like, after, like I'll hit, like, the halfway point, or, like, you know, I'll be, like, 10, 15, 20 minutes in, and I'll be like, all right, like, I feel like a fucking badass, like, I look like a powerhouse, like, let's fucking go, I feel good, I look good, like, let's do this, you know, and, like, even if the shreds aren't there or not, like, you know, like, it doesn't matter, because it's about how I feel. It's about how I feel, and if I can force myself to look at myself at the same time and come to terms with that, and just remind myself that this is improvement season, how you fuel is how you feel, and this last one is push food, push weights. Like, that's the last one that, like, I really keep telling myself, you know, if I'm going to eat this food, if I'm going to be eating more food, I'm going to push some heavy-ass weights, because I'm not going to gain muscle just by eating food. I have to eat the food so that I can recover properly from pushing heavy weights that are going to tear the muscle fibers and rebuilding that muscle and making the most of improvement season. So push food, push weights. And I just tell myself that, and I just, like, kind of go from there. So that's what I wanted to share. I know that was a lot, but I just really wanted to get this out there for maybe somebody else that is kind of struggling on their post-show journey, maybe beating themselves up a little bit on the way that their body is changing, comparing themselves to somebody else's post-show journey, in regards to where they're at compared to somebody else. And the thing I want you to remember with that is you cannot compare the chapter that you are currently on to anybody else's. And also, what you see is not always what you get. What they're posting, you know, if it's that person that's only 1 or 2 or 4 pounds up post-show, and it's been a month, and you're sitting there like, where the fuck did this 12 pounds come from? You know, what you see ain't always what you get. And I can almost guarantee you that they are struggling just as much as you are, maybe just in a different way. So that's what I wanted to share. I'll have some more updates coming to you guys this weekend. I know it'll only be a couple of days, but a lot can change in a day or two. Y'all know that. So hopefully this was helpful. And if you want, you can just shoot me some comments, shoot me some messages if you have any sort of feedback or questions or input on anything that I shared. I'd love to hear from you guys, and I'd love to help out in any other way that I can, because I know this portion of the journey is unexpectedly difficult, and probably, I would say, post-show thus far is more difficult than prep. So if you're in that struggle bus too, I got you, girl. Like I said, hit me a message, hit me a comment, and maybe we could chat a little bit on what's going on. Hopefully I can share some things that are going to help you on your journey just as much as I'm trying to make my way through mine. So talk to you guys soon. XOXO.